Hey guys, how's it going today? It's Dare here, and today I'm here teaching you guys how to make your character move around and actually look like he's moving around. This is going to be like an RPG style movement. So if you're looking to make an RPG type game, this is definitely the video for you. So obviously, okay, so what you're going to need is a few sprites, okay? I have already made my sprites. If you're watching this video and you don't know how to make sprites or how to use sprites, you should probably go watch another video on that. Um, but uh, so make four sprites. Okay, you're gonna want to make four sprites. You're gonna want to name them differently. One, I made this one because this is gonna be what the player will look like when he's facing right. This is what the player will look like. This is what the player will look like when he's facing left, and then when he's facing the front, when he's facing the back, etc. Okay. Now, we're going to want to make an object for a player. We're going to name that object underscore player, obj underscore player. Obj is short for object, spr is short for sprite. Now you can assign whatever sprite you would like to it, and it doesn't really matter because the sprite will be changing throughout the game. Add a step event, go to control, drag the code over, and we're just going to comment this out as player movement. Okay, so in this script, right, we're gonna be using if statements. Now, if statements are used like this. So actually, I'm gonna format the code so it's easier for you guys to understand. So an if statement is if whatever is in here. So if this value is equal, if this is true, say a keyboard press, left mouse press, anything like that, if that's true, then it's gonna run whatever's in here. So we're gonna use keyboard check. So what this is going to do, it's going to check to see if whatever key we're pressing, which we're going to assign, don't worry, if that's true, then it's going to execute this code, okay? So this keyboard check, if keyboard check, so I see people doing, say, VK right or VK up, VK left, that will be used for the arrow keys. Now we're going to use a WSA and D in this because I like WSA and D, and that's usually what's used for most modern games nowadays. So instead of that, you can't just put in quotes W. That won't work. You have to put ORD first. I don't know what ORD means. Just go along with it. Okay, ORD. And then in quotes, you're going to want to put the key that you want to press. So we're going to start with right. So we're going to put D. And we're going to close that off with the brackets. So also, every time there's a parentheses right here, it needs to be closed with another parentheses. That's why there's three parentheses, because there's one opening, two opening, three opening, so we gotta close all three of them. Just thought I'd throw that in there. It's a little good thing to know. So, if keyboard check, which if keyboard check D, so if we are pressing D, then it's gonna run this code. So let's start off with changing the sprite. Actually, no. I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, so let's start with x plus equals 4, because 4 is a good starting number. Now, what this will do is it'll take the x position of the object, it'll take our x position player, and it'll add 4 to it. Okay? Now, what this will do, here I will just click save, click that, hit the save button. Oh, we don't have a room. Okay, my bad. Let's make a room. Let's just name a room game. We'll keep that all the same. I'll make another video about views. Okay, I'm just going to change the background color. I'll put the object in. Just put him right there, right in the middle, whatever. Alright, save it. Now run. Now, what this should do, we should not be able to press any of the keys but D to go right. So see, it makes it so we can go right at 4 speed. Now you can up this, you can play with it, you can make it slower, you can make it faster, it doesn't really matter, but you can see we can only go right at the moment. So if we go back into the step event, it's keyboard check or D. So if we're pressing D, plus equals 4. Okay. If the keyboard check or A, which is left, and you close that off, and then you go like put your code in. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it x minus equals 4, because instead of going forward for, we're going backwards for. Okay? Now, I would just copy this code because we're going to have to paste it 2 more times. Copy the code, paste it 2 more times. Change this one to W, and change this, oh my bad, change that one to S. So if it's W and S, right, that's up and down. So instead of X, we're going to change that to Y. So Y is up and down. Remember that. X is left and right, Y is up and down. So we're going to keep this one the same because negative is going up. I don't know why that is. I would think positive is going up, but no, negative is going up. So if it's minus equals 4, which is negative is, minus equals 4, it's taking away 4, so it's going up. So we're going to change this one to plus. So it's plus equals 4. Now what this should do is this should make it so if you save the game and run it, this should make it so we can move in all directions, okay? Now, let it run. Okay, see, we can move in all directions, but you see the player is still facing that way. See, we don't want the player to keep facing that way. So what we're going to do is we're going to take it, we're going to go back into the player movement, and we want it so the sprite changes. We want it to change to one of these sprites after we click on one of these keys. So, like I said, if keyboard check is if you're pressing D, so if you're pressing D, it's gonna run this code in here. That's what keyboard check is for. So we're gonna run sprite underscore index, right? Sprite index. That's gonna go into the sprite index, and it's gonna make it equal to whatever the sprite you make it. So we're gonna do spr underscore right, spr player right, because this is D, so we're going right. So it'll change the sprite to the player right. So you want to keep that, and then do the same thing for these other ones, sprite index. So it goes into the sprite index, and it finds the sprite spr player left. Now I'm just gonna quickly do this with the up and down too. Oh wait, no, this one's back. There you go. Alright, so what this will do is if the keyboard is checked, if you're pressing A on the keyboard, it will go into the sprite index, and it'll change the sprite to this sprite right here. This can be equal to whatever. It'll change it to that, then it'll go down here, and it will say, oh, well, we're pressing this, so we need to change the sprite, and then we need to move the player. Okay, so just hit the check mark, save the game, run it. As you can see, if we move right, it goes that way. If we move left, it switches around. If we move up, it switches like that. Move down, it goes like that. Now this one is a little buggy. I would not recommend using this for your game. I would recommend using this as more of a educational tutorial, because this is a little bit buggy. As you can see, if we go up and then we go right, you can see how it switches in position. But yeah, it's fairly simple. It's really easy to use actually, and so if you guys found this useful, please leave a like or a rating on the video. Leave me a comment, give me some feedback. I know this is kind of a long video for such an easy subject, but I try to explain things as good as possible. But yeah, so I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you for stopping by, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.